Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the NBA show. Wednesday, October 26th. It is Wednesday, so no Cyro today. We got a couple things we're going to talk about. We're not going to talk about too much. I do want to start off with the Golden State Warriors. They lost to the Phoenix Suns yesterday. It's all over Twitter right now is the little scuffle that Klay Thompson and Devin Booker got into, and we're going to pull this screen up here. Personally, to me, I'm not a huge fan of the Phoenix Suns. I don't really like – sounds super shitty. I don't really like their fan base too much. That sounds super shitty, though. So they're not my favorite team. So keep that in mind. This is a pretty biased take. I'm also a pretty big Golden State Warrior supporter. It's getting to the point where obviously Golden State's defense, Cyro sent me a message earlier today saying the Dubs hadn't given up 130 points till I think the first week of February last season. And then so far in just 4 games, they've given up 130 in 3 of them. Their defense is completely different right now. And you got to keep in mind, and we'll just kind of take a look at their roster here. They're playing with a lot of new players. So, when we look at the bench here, Kuminga, Green, Wiseman, Ty Jerome, and Moses Moody, these are all brand new faces. Or not all of them are brand new faces. They're either a brand new face, like, Ty Jerome, I don't really think he should have made that roster, and it's becoming very evident right now. Mac McClung probably wasn't also the answer. However, it really blew my mind that they went with Ty Jerome and Anthony Lamb. That also really confused me. So I think the Golden State Warriors honestly might do something for the bottom end of their rotation later on in the season. But Dante DiVincenzo is a little bit banged up right now, so keep that in mind. You have Klay Thompson still on a minute restriction, although he did get double teed up with that little scuffle. Booker paid his respect to Klay. Klay was saying, we got 4 rings. I agree with, what was it? I think Charles Barkley was the one who said it right after the game on TNT that their age is showing. Draymond's a little bit different because he kind of loves that. Klay, we heard this summer, that it's not that he lost his love for basketball. It's just different. He said he's in he's got this mental head block because he hasn't played live basketball in 2 years, at least 2 years. So it's got to be frustrating for Klay that he isn't quite the same, both mentally and physically. Now, we saw him average 20 a night last season when he came back, and we saw him average 20 a night in the playoffs. He was an integral piece to why they won the championship. However, something we talked about in the offseason, Cyro and I, was, Klay Thompson and bench role could be coming at some point. I won't say 100% this year, but I would say there is no way that by the end of next season, Klay Thompson will be their starting shooting guard. Unless he, can really get his body back. I think he'll figure out his mental block, whatever's going on up there. But, it's limited. You're limited on defense. And so you have Dre getting older, you have Steph getting older, and you have Klay getting older. And, Dre missed 2.5 months last year. Klay Thompson missed 2 years a couple of years ago. They're just... You got more holes to fill up. They're a little bit tired. Their legs aren't as fresh. Keep in mind, they won the championship, so they had, a month off? They had a month off of basketball. So, we've heard previous champions come back and say, winning the championship really took, it probably took a year off of my career, or it aged me a year because your body doesn't have the time to recover. Your mind doesn't have the time to recover. So, it plays a role, and that's why you rarely ever see teams not only get back to the championship in every single sport, but let alone win the championship back-to-back. So, it makes what Golden State did a couple of years ago that much more impressive, and what makes what they did last year that much more impressive. But, when I look at this bench here, I'm thinking to myself, I love Wiseman. I love Kuminga. I think Jermichael was a huge addition. You'll be getting Dante DiVincenzo back relatively soon, and he was also a nice addition. But I wouldn't be surprised if Kuminga got traded at some point in this season, and they might even loop James Wiseman in there just to continue the value up. I mean, Kuminga, the issue with that is I don't really see a world where Jonathan Kuminga is able to progress and develop playing behind Dre, Wiggins, and Looney. I know Looney – it's only a 20-minute a guy per night, but they paid Wiggins. So they have Wiggins for a couple more seasons. So it makes it much harder to develop Jonathan Kuminga. I mean, imagine he was on a team like OKC where he's playing 32 minutes a night for an entire season as opposed to 15 minutes a night most games. Just you're not going to develop as quickly. And when we look at their bench defense specifically, a lot of new faces, less, I don't want to say talent, but they lost critical guys like Otto Porter, Gary Payton, Bella Litza. All these guys are extremely critical. My dad's calling me. So it's something to know. I think Jonathan Kuminga might actually get traded this season or next from Golden State. Moses Moody, big Moses Moody fan. I mean, for Phoenix, I still am not sold on him. Chris Paul looked way more improved. He's gotten, he looks so much better than the Phoenix Suns debut. I still just have concerns with Phoenix. It appears as if they haven't lost the locker room issues. It hasn't deteriorated them like I was thinking it would deteriorate them like very quickly. It's kept them stagnant though. They're not, really growing as a team right now. So it's something to keep note of. But we're going to get into some Dallas Maverick talk because that's what I want to talk about. Also last night, just give a quick rundown of the games. You saw OKC get their win over the Los Angeles Clippers. Keep in mind, I mean, you had no Paul Gasol. You had no Paul George. You had no Kawhi Leonard. Still, nonetheless, nice win for the Thunder. What else do we have? We had Wizards versus the Pistons. Kyle Kuzma continued to dominate. Bogdanovich dropped 25. That was pretty cool. Detroit seems a little bit further away than I was anticipating. I still think by the end of the season, to me, I know we're only 4 games in, so if I had to overreact to Detroit's 1-3 start, keep in mind 3 of those games were on the road. They lost all 3 of them. I think they're it's going to take longer into the season, just like Orlando. We're seeing the same thing with Orlando. I'm actually not even quite sure if Orlando's won a game yet. I think they might have one. What is that? That's it. So let's pull up the Dallas Mavericks now. One day I really hope that we can pull up clips because it would be a lot easier to show this on film. But I have a lot of concerns with the Dallas Mavericks, the new look Dallas Mavericks, and a lot of it has to do with the loss of Jalen Brunson, but it mainly has to do with just Luka Doncic's playing style. So I have some stuff here. With Luka and any team with a guy like James Harden, where the ball is in their hand all the time, the issue is this. Look at the shots. And like I said, it would be a lot easier to show this on film. Reggie Bullock, 1 of 8. Okay. Dorian Finney-Smith, 2 of 5. Spencer Dinwiddie, he took 15 shots. But when you have a guy like Luka taking 30 field goals, 13 threes, you're actually going several possessions without passing the basketball. That's a huge issue because let's imagine, it's just even weird in a pickup game not having the ball for 5 straight times. So imagine you're playing a pickup game with a bunch of randos. You have a guy on your team he doesn't really pass the basketball. And so 5 straight possessions go down and he finally passes you the ball. You're wide open in the corner. Well, that's your first touch in 3 minutes. And you're also running around on defense. So when you play a team like New Orleans, where CJ does a great job, I know they were missing 3 starters. CJ does a great job at distributing the basketball, and it's exactly what we saw, very similarly to what we saw and why Golden State just manhandled them. Their defense is running around. They're running around. Steph's going at Luka. Last night, CJ's going at Luka. Everybody's just going at Luka defensively. So he's going to get gassed. His teammates are really they have to run around on defense, and you're not getting the ball for several possessions. So when that ball comes into your hands, you're not even hot. That might be your first shot of the game. So if we go back to the first round of the playoffs last year where the Mavericks were without Luka, their offense looked unreal. When Jalen Brunson was the point guard and Luka was on the bench, their offense is moving around. Everybody has the ball. You're either setting a screen or you're actually getting the ball and you're taking that shot. When Luka's out there, just like James Harden, it's slow, It's stagnant. It's ISO heavy. There are possessions where Luka will hold the ball for 10 straight seconds, just chuck up a three. And by the end of the game, none of your role players are in a groove in any way, shape, or form. So I hate saying it, but that's why James Harden hasn't won a ring. And that's why, if this continues, Luka Doncic won't win a ring. It sucks because I'm a Luka supporter, but you're just not getting your teammates involved. And so that's why it's nice where you have a guy like Jalen Brunson, or that's why I think Spencer Dinwiddie needs to come off of the bench, because the offense is moving around. You're getting your teammates involved. You're getting Wood involved. You're getting JaMychal Green involved. You're getting Kleber involved. You're getting Bullock. You're getting DFS. You're getting Tim Hardaway Jr. All these guys are getting involved. Now, I guess it is important to note that they were missing a couple of pieces last night. Like, you saw no Tim Hardaway Jr., you saw no Dwight Powell, but it still says the same. What has a higher make percentage, an open layup or an open three? It's an open layup. So when Luka pushes inward and he attempts to drive, the whole defense is going to collapse and they're going to get their hands up. You have a higher chance at deflections. And then when the ball is kicked out to a player who hasn't had the ball in a couple of possessions, they're going to attempt to close out. I hate using the Warriors as an example, but the Warriors are such a good defensive team that their closeouts are phenomenal. New Orleans is an underrated defensive team as well. So I just have a really hard time believing that Dallas is going to win a championship with this roster. I mean, Luka is going to be able – what did he get you last night? 37 points. Luka's going to be able to get you – and they still have a really talented team. He has plenty of help. Even though you lost Jalen Brunson, you still have plenty of help. But these guys aren't really in the offense because there's no ball movement. There's literally no ball movement going around. So it's just interesting to know. And it's only been a couple of games, so I can't really look too much into it. And it's really hard to kind of explain this without being able to show it. But that really is my point with the Dallas Mavericks. There's no ball movement going on, except for when Luka's off of the bench. And it's almost like, Ja and the Grizzlies aren't like that. They're not like Harden. They're not like Luka, but that's why the Memphis Grizzlies were, 20-2 without Ja Morant last season. The ball is moving around. Everybody's getting involved. When I watched that game against the Grizzlies Rockets Friday night, there were tons of possessions where, Ja is such a skilled player where, he can just drive into the lane, get a dunk, get a layup, get an and one, get fouled, do what he's got to do. And it just kind of limits your role players where they have to kind of, make shots whenever the ball gets their way. But I think it's really important to know when you haven't had the ball think of a pickup game. If you haven't had the ball for 4 straight possessions, even if you have 4 possessions and you touch the ball, but you're not shooting it, you at least are touching the basketball. You're at least involved in the offense, gets your confidence going. And all these little things, they're going to start to add up once you get into the end of the game. And keep in mind, when you have these ISO heavy players like James Harden, Luka Doncic, they're getting gassed because they're doing everything on offense. So they're absolutely gassed by the end of the game. So their shots aren't going to fall, and the offense isn't moving, and your teammates are not in a rhythm because they haven't had the ball all damn night. So got Aaron here. What's up, Aaron? Appreciate you tuning in. Very quick show tonight. Whenever we're done with these chats, I'm gonna hop into a game of Pirtle because I don't know. We probably have like less than 4 solo shows. I'm still trying to figure out something else. Maybe let's see what Nick says. We'll call him live on there if he wants to hop in here. Hawks are struggling offensively because the team is trying to change from a heliocentric offense. Mavs will need to do that to improve their ceiling. Exactly, yeah. Exactly, and they'll get there because you have a lot of guys. I mean, Trey's good at passing. DeJounte's good at passing, but yeah, exactly. All right. We're going to get in here. Oh, we have an NBA rookie ladder. Number 1, Paolo Banchero. 2, Benedict Mathurin. 3, Jabari Smith Jr. 4, Jalen Duren. Wow, 5, Jaden Ivey. I would imagine Jaden's all the way down at 5 just because of inefficiency from shooting. I'm very surprised Paolo is number 1. I would guarantee you if Benedict the other night against Philly didn't go, 7 of 17, I guarantee you he would be number one right now. But Paul's a great basketball player, so we'll see. All right. I actually don't even really want to play a game of Pirtle, but I guess we'll do it. Hope everybody is doing well. Let's get this on the screen. I love Benedict. Yeah, he's a stud, man. I made a video on him earlier today on the main. Can you guys see this? Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. This is where I really struggle. This doesn't look like Dame, but we're going to just get the ball rolling here. Nothing. That helped me in no way, shape, or form. What is up, Jalen? Double J in the chat. Hope you're doing well, man. A solo show, so very more low key. Very, very low key. We're doing Pirtle here, if anyone's got some guesses. So he's not in the West. He's not a guard. He's younger than 32. So Eastern Conference players. I'm gonna just make sure I get the answer in this one. What's up, Knights? Oh, damn, you missed the Mavs talk. I'm a Mavs fan, bro, but they look great. So picture James Harden a couple years ago. They looked great, right? When they got Chris Paul, you were able to stagger them, just like you were with Jalen Brunson last season. I know there's some new faces in Dallas. JaVale McGee definitely is going to help your offense, but he's not playing anything crazy. Christian Wood is going to be a savior, as he already kind of is a savior right now. I mean, imagine they didn't get Christian Wood. How would the Dallas Mavericks look? They don't look good right now. So you're always going to be okay because Luka can take over any basketball game. But it just gets me to that point, man. When that ball isn't moving, does this mean Dallas can't be a top 4 seed? Absolutely not. They absolutely can. I'm just saying, just like we saw in the series against Golden State, I'm not quite sure what has changed as far as moving the ball because heliocentric offenses don't win championships, as we've seen in James Harden's entire career. So it puts a lot of stress on everybody, your role players and Luka. And once that fourth quarter hits and you don't have the ball moving and your teammates aren't in a groove, it makes it a lot more difficult. So, yeah, Dallas will be a top 6 seed. They might even get to the top 4. Keep in mind, Dallas struggled at the start of the season last year. They ended on a 40-2 run to finish the season out. But as Aaron's saying here, I mean, I don't think they've improved. They're one step forward and one step back. So I think Brunson was a huge loss. I think Dinwiddie needs to get onto the bench. As good of a player as he is, he should still close these games. He should definitely still be closing these games. I think even Christian Wood should definitely be closing every game he's in. But keep the chats coming, man. I love it. All right, so we got an Atlantic player in the East, not on Boston. I don't know if yellow means it. If he's I think it might be he might be a forward. So we got a forward in the East. Do we have a height? He's younger than 24. Wow. And he's smaller than 6'8". That's true. Let's hope they don't rely on Luka too much. They have Christian Wood and they have Spencer Dinwiddie to carry load. And you have a bunch of talented role players. Tim Hardaway Jr. missing doesn't help, but you got Tim. You got Reggie Bullock. You've got Dorian Finney-Smith. You have Hoopers. He has plenty of help. He had plenty of help last year. You got Wood. You got McGee. You still have plenty of help, but it's going to come down to how they're. And it's not just Luka's fault. I'm also going to put Jason Kidd at blame here as well. It's a little bit of everything. So this little bit here is interesting. He's a young basketball player. I mean, this isn't Tyrese, but they're in the same division. Okay, so he's taller than 6'2". He's 21 years old. We got a 21-year-old Eastern Atlantic Division player. Oh, shit, he's not a guard. That's my bad. So who else is in that one? He's 21 years old. I'm going to guess Rui Hachimura, although it's not him. Oh, and it's a Southeast dumbass. He's 24. Dude. Wow. This really isn't helping. All I gotta do is just get this guy, and the score will be 5 to 5.5. It's currently 4.5 to 5.5. I'm not giving myself a full point with Cyro gone, but I am gonna tack off half. I'm gonna give myself the ability to score points when he's gone. Dude, who's in the Atlantic? How old's Cam Reddish? Dude, these are just guesses. They're horrible guesses. Hey, he's Knicks, Philly. Is he on? Who's a 21-year-old on Toronto? It's not Scotty Barnes. Huh. Who's the other team? Philly, Boston. It's not Atlanta. Philly, Boston, Knicks, Raptors, and Nets, is it? Ooh, is it? I think it's the Nets. Who would this be on the Nets? 21-year-old forward? 21-year-old forward on Brooklyn or Toronto? New York, Philly, and Toronto, right? But he's not on Boston, he's not on New York, and he's not on Philly. So he has to be on Brooklyn or Toronto. And he's a forward. I feel like that eliminates the Toronto Raptors. Brooklyn? I mean, Cam Thomas is a guard, but he's also 21 years old. Okay, so he's on Toronto then. Who's a 21-year-old player on Toronto who's a forward? It's going to piss me off. How many guesses we got? 2 more? We have 2 more guesses. 21 forward. Where's Thomas Perry when you need him? Oh, fucking A, dude. It's not Scotty Barnes. It's not Scotty Barnes. I didn't know he shaved his head. All right. Well, that's annoying, but it counts. I can't believe that was Scotty fucking early. Pisses me off. I make Raptors videos almost every single day. My dumbass was looking for the fucking hair to stick up. So we got 6 people in here, man. Let's talk a little bit more basketball, actually. We got everybody in here. We'll take a look at tonight's game because I don't know who's playing tonight. Can you guys see the screen? Nope. All right. What is on the slate tonight in the NBA world? Indiana, Chicago. I'll definitely be watching that. This is going to be a big game for Chicago here. I don't know if anybody saw Andre Drummond put up his, I think it was on Instagram or Twitter, talking about how they have a starting unit on the bench. I wouldn't go as far to say as they have a starting unit on the Chicago Bulls bench, but they have starting caliber players on our bench. I'm excited to see Benedict. I love Indiana's a really fun team to watch right now as well. I mean, defensively they suck, so Chicago can just put up the points. They're looking pretty good. We have a lot of conference. We have a lot of interconference, a lot of divisional games tonight, which is cool. Orlando. Oh, they haven't won a game. Orlando, Cleveland should be a fun one. I mean, I don't know what games aren't fun to watch in the league right now because this is the most. I feel like this is the most even playing field we've had in the league for a couple of years now, at least. Let's do predictions, though. I'm going to write my predictions down because I've been shitty. I don't actually think I've gotten a single prediction correct yesterday. I picked Warriors and Dallas, didn't I, last night? So I'm going to go Bulls. I'm going to go Cleveland. Sorry, Orlando. Cleveland looks good. Then we got Atlanta, Detroit. I also picked Detroit last night. Coming off a back-to-back, and Atlanta would have won anyways, but I'm definitely going Atlanta. That will be a fun Another Eastern Conference battle to watch. We got New York versus Charlotte. I'm definitely going Knicks. Watching Scary Terry do his thing right now is really fun to watch. Nick Richards as well. Kelly Oubre, Gordon Hayward. It's very fun to watch. But Julius Randle, you see those stats right there, 21, 10, and 3. He's looking like the all-NBA. Our Rockets are playing the Jazz again. Yeah. Kind of hoping for a Utah win, man. Can't lie. We'll get to that in a second, I imagine. Damn, the game's on at 9 here. It's a late game. All right, Philly, Toronto. I got to show love to Toronto. We're going to go Toronto here. I think Philly's still got a lot of things to figure out. Brooklyn, Milwaukee on ESPN. Let's go. What's the other ESPN game? Lakers, Nuggets. Ooh, the Lakers are fucked, man. Sixers, Raptors is a great game. This is also a great game. I'm going to go Milwaukee. They haven't lost a game. They only played twice, but I'm going to go Milwaukee. San Antonio versus Minnesota again, if I'm not mistaken. If they played Minnesota yet? I might be thinking of Utah. Spurs are 3-0 on the road. My gut is telling me San Antonio. I don't think we've actually picked an upset yet. Fuck it, dude. Let's go Spurs. I don't think anybody really has a read on San Antonio right now. Wow, this is a loaded night of basketball. Houston, Utah. I'm going to go Utah, sorry. Because I also want that to happen. As shitty as that sounds. Lakers, Nuggets. Oh, man, on the road. I believe Russ is out tonight, so we'll go Los Angeles. It's another upset pick there. We got like 2 upsets. What's that line at? -5. Denver. Miami, Portland. Portland continues to they're going to continue to go. No, they played Jalen. They played Monday night. They played Monday in Houston, and they just flew to Utah yesterday or after the game or whatever the hell. Heat Blazers. Yeah, I'm going to keep riding the hot hand. However, I don't want to jinx Portland, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go Miami just so we can keep this undefeated season for Portland. I don't want to jinx them. I've been horrible with predictions. So what is that? 10 games on tonight? Man, that's a lot of basketball again. Feels good. Spurs and the Wolves. Get out of here, geek. These stupid spams. All right. That's going to be it for today, folks. Short little half-hour stream. I asked Cyro what his thoughts were on doing the solo show last Friday because I was in Houston and something came up and it was stupid and it pissed me off. I also didn't have good Wi-Fi in the hotel when I got back. The show was over. So thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. And Cyro and I will see you tomorrow. I will be in a new location, so hopefully my flight lands on time and I'll be here. Peace.